Sound Productions.
Twisted Tales.
Hello, my friends. I put together 3 demon stories for you. You might want to bring a package of wipes, these ones pretty scary. As the aircraft tore across the stormy night sky, the cabin was filled with the deafening sound of its engines. The rain beating on the windows provided a foreboding scene for the mayhem that was about to happen. The luggage beneath the passengers carried a dark secret that they were unaware of. With years of flight expertise under her belt, Captain Emma Harris of the airline inspected the instrument panel alongside her first officer, Mark Williams, his brow furrowed in worry. The level of turbulence exceeded their expectations, and the passengers' nervous whispers reverberated around the plane. A sturdy set of chains held a large metal crate in place inside the main deck's dimly illuminated cargo hold. The crew and passengers were oblivious that the plane contained something in the cargo area that was ready to start some shit, and the sound of the aircraft brought the creature from its sleep. The monster let out a horrible sound as the aircraft tore through the storm clouds. Its eyes radiated an awful radiance. They were devoid of any humanity. It started to rattle in its chains, like the whole essence of evil was trying to break free. Captain Harris and First Officer Williams exchanged a troubled look up in the cockpit. It became more difficult to keep control as the turbulence increased. There was a loud crash from the cargo hold below as they were ready to signal for help. The entire aircraft was startled by the startling noise. "What the hell was that?" Williams yelled,
What the hell was
his
that?
terrified eyes wide. The intercom crackled to life, the voice gruff and garbled, before Harris could reply. "I emerge from the abyss, awakened. The jet will be my ship and the people inside will be my dinner." The pilots exchanged horrified looks as they tried to figure out where the eerie message was coming from. Their scared faces took on an unsettling glow as the lights in the cockpit flickered. A chilling wind felt as though it were blowing through the little room, giving them the chills. The evil spirit in the cargo hold escaped its restraints. Its hideous shape materialized, a combination of rotting flesh and evil force. It descended the stairs to the main deck with an uncanny sense of agility, leaving a path of fear in its wake. As the creature reached the passenger area, panic erupted. The once muted murmurs escalated into screams of terror as passengers caught sight of the abomination. Flight attendants rushed to secure the cabin, but the demon moved with unnatural speed, leaving chaos in its wake.
No way. It can't be.
In the cockpit, Captain Harris frantically radioed for help, her voice desperate amidst the pandemonium. The storm outside mirrored the turmoil within the airplane, as if nature itself recoiled from the unleashed evil. The demon's destination was clear. It sought the pilots, the masters of this flying vessel. Captain Harris and First Officer Williams braced themselves as the cockpit door burst open. The air became thick with malevolence as the creature entered, its eyes fixated on its prey. "Your souls are forfeit," it hissed, a guttural sound that sent shivers down their spines. Captain Harris reached for the emergency axe, a last resort to defend themselves. But before she could swing, the demon lunged, its razor-sharp claws tearing through the air. First Officer Williams fought back, desperation in his eyes, but the creature's unholy strength overwhelmed them. As the demonic entity took control of the cockpit, the airplane began to descend, veering off course. The passengers, trapped in a nightmare of terror, clung to their seats as the airplane plummeted toward the unforgiving ocean below. Rain pounded against the windows, the storm outside reflecting the havoc within. The pilots, now lifeless, slumped in their seats as the demonic force seized the controls. The airplane descended further, the ocean's surface looming closer with each passing moment. In the final moments, a haunting silence enveloped the airplane. The demon, having achieved its grisly conquest, reveled in the impending catastrophe. The once vibrant vessel now hurtled toward the dark abyss of the ocean, its lights flickering like dying stars. The impact was inevitable. The airplane crashed into the roiling sea, swallowed by the depths. The storm raged on, indifferent to the tragedy that had unfolded in its midst. The artifact, now free from its metallic prison, sank into the murky waters, its malevolent energy lingering like a stain on the ocean floor. Above, The storm clouds began to disperse, revealing a moonlit sky. The ocean, calm once more, held the wreckage of Flight 187 in its cold embrace. The horror that had befallen the passengers and crew now rested in the watery grave, a macabre secret hidden beneath the surface.
Story 2.
The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the deserted town. Mark, a weary traveler on a lonely road, spotted a flickering neon sign in the distance. Eternal Shine Car Wash, open 24/7. With a sigh of relief, he steered his dusty sedan towards the entrance, eager to rid his vehicle of the layers of dirt accumulated during his journey. The car wash appeared to be ordinary at first glance. Rows of soapy brushes and jets of water awaited his vehicle. Mark pulled up to the payment kiosk, inserted a few crumpled bills, and rolled up his windows. As he entered the dark tunnel, the automatic doors sealed shut behind him with a hiss. The car wash seemed typical at first, the rhythmic slapping of brushes against the car and the muffled hum of water jets. Mark reclined in his seat, closing his eyes and letting the monotony of the experience wash over him. That's when the first hint of unease crept in. A low, guttural growl echoed through the car, resonating in Mark's chest. He opened his eyes, and his surroundings had transformed. The once familiar car wash was now an otherworldly portal, adorned with swirling shades of crimson and obsidian. Mark's heart raced as he realized he was no longer in control. The car moved forward on its own, propelled by an unseen force. The interior of the tunnel warped, contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Mark's surroundings twisted and turned, the colors bleeding into a nightmarish palette. As the car advanced, the air grew thick with an oppressive heat, and distant screams echoed through the ethereal landscape. Mark peered through the windshield, his eyes widening in horror. Demonic figures writhed in agony, their contorted forms illuminated by flickering flames. The stench of sulfur permeated the air. Each demon locked eyes with Mark as he passed, their malevolent gazes penetrating his soul. He witnessed unspeakable torments, bodies aflame, grotesque transformations, and endless suffering. The car pressed on, seemingly unaffected by the nightmarish visions. Mark's mind teetered on the edge of sanity as the hellish tableau unfolded before him. He desperately tried to block out the gruesome sights, but they clung to his consciousness like a relentless nightmare. Just when he thought he could endure no more, the car reached the end of the tunnel. The demonic panorama faded, replaced by the familiar sight of the car wash exit. The automatic doors opened, and Mark's car emerged into the cool night air. He sat there, trembling as reality slowly reasserted itself. The neon sign of the car wash flickered overhead, now innocuous in its mundane glow. Mark glanced around, half expecting the demons to materialize once more. Shaken and disoriented, he navigated the now empty streets, haunted by the vivid memories of the infernal car wash. The distant echoes of demonic wails lingered in his mind, a chilling reminder of the horrors he had witnessed in that brief journey through a portal.
Story 3.
The air was thick with the scent of pine and damp earth as 5 friends set up their campsite near the mysterious Blackwater Lake. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the dense forest. They laughed and shared ghost stories around the crackling fire, unaware of the ancient evil that lurked beneath the still waters. As the night deepened, the group huddled together, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. Mark, the adventurous leader of the group, proposed a midnight swim. "Come on, guys, it's a tradition. A dip in Blackwater Lake under the moonlight. It's a rite of passage." Nervous glances were exchanged, but the allure of adventure overcame their reservations. Stripping down to their swimsuits, they made their way to the edge of the lake. The water, like a vast inkwell, reflected the shimmering moon above. The first plunge sent shivers through their bodies as the icy tendrils of the lake wrapped around them. Laughter echoed across the water, mingling with the rustling leaves and distant calls of nocturnal creatures. Little did they know, something sinister stirred beneath the lake's surface, drawn by the laughter of unsuspecting prey. As the group swam farther from the shore, the atmosphere changed. An eerie stillness settled upon the water, and the moon's reflection wavered as if disturbed by unseen forces. Mark, the last to venture into the deep, felt a sudden chill running down his spine. Unsettled, he looked around, sensing an unseen presence. Suddenly, the lake erupted into chaos. Dark, shadowy figures swirled beneath the surface, and an otherworldly wail echoed through the night. Panic seized the group as they thrashed through the water, desperately trying to reach the safety of the shore. The lake demon, awakened by their intrusion, emerged with a grotesque blend of water and darkness. Its form was amorphous, constantly shifting and contorting as it slithered towards the campers. Eyes that glowed like embers fixated on the terrified group, freezing them in place. Mark, with a surge of adrenaline, broke free from the paralyzing fear and urged his friends to swim faster. The demonic entity pursued, leaving in its wake a trail of ripples that distorted the reflection of the moon. The forest seemed to close in around them, the once familiar trees now twisted and distorted in the moonlight. Gasping for breath, they stumbled onto the shore, their hearts pounding in their chests. But the nightmare was far from over. The demon, now partially manifested on land, oozed its inky substance towards them, leaving a trail of slime that sizzled on contact with the ground. In a desperate bid for survival, the group sprinted into the forest, the demon's unearthly wail echoing behind them. Branches clawed at their skin as they ran, and the woods seemed to conspire against them, leading them deeper into the heart of the darkness. They stumbled upon an ancient, dilapidated cabin, its windows shattered and door hanging off its hinges. Without hesitation, they barged in, hoping to find sanctuary from the malevolent force that pursued them. The air inside was thick with the scent of decay, and the only sound was the creaking of the time-worn structure. As they huddled in the cabin's darkness, the lake demon encircled the dilapidated building. The walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, and the group felt the cabin itself resisting their presence. Whispers filled the air, indistinct, chilling voices that seemed to be both a warning and a lament. The demon's shadowy appendages reached through cracks in the decaying walls, searching for its prey. Desperation consumed the campers as they tried to barricade the entrance, but the demonic force was relentless, seeping through every crevice like a malevolent fog. In the flickering candlelight, they found an ancient tome, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and incantations. With trembling hands, they attempted to perform a ritual, hoping to banish the demon back to the depths from whence it came. As they chanted, the cabin groaned under the pressure of the encroaching darkness, and the air became charged with an otherworldly energy. The ritual reached its crescendo, and for a moment it seemed as if the cabin would collapse under the strain. The demonic wail intensified, a symphony of torment echoing through the night. Then, in an instant, the cabin fell silent. Cautiously, the group emerged from the cabin into the stillness of the night. The moon cast its gentle glow on Blackwater Lake, its surface now serene, as if nothing had transpired. The ancient evil had been banished, for now. As they made their way back to the campsite, the survivors couldn't shake the feeling that the lake was watching them. Whispers lingered in the air, haunting reminders of the night they had narrowly escaped the clutches of the lake demon. The group packed their belongings in silence, leaving Blackwater Lake behind, its secrets buried beneath the tranquil surface until the next unsuspecting wanderers stirred its ancient wrath. Thanks for watching. I will have more 3-pack stories coming, so watch for those. Also, some Randonautica stories in the making, so those will be out soon. And as usual, my friends, I will see you on the dark side. Sweet nightmares.